There we go. That should be good now.
Okay. Yeah, what up, man? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. I just, had a nice shower. I feel super refreshed. Feel nice and clean, and I'm ready to coach it up. How you doing, man?
Holy shit, there's a delay. Hold on a second. Let me mute your stream.
Okay.
That's so fucking annoying.
No, for sure. If you're listening to me twice, definitely mute the stream for sure.
All right, I'm ready now. My bad.
No worries. But yeah, dude, I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Doing good. Just, a little sleepy, but it's all right.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm almost always sleepy. It's for when I first wake up because I never have a set schedule. So I always have to like wake up for like an hour after I wake up to like actually wake up. Uh, but dude, tell me about your StarCraft and how's that going? What are you looking forward to today? What are you interested in?
I'm interested in breaking the plateau that I have right now, pretty much.
And where's that at?
It's like pretty much hit like 3,400 MMR and then can't really seem to get past that. So,
Okay, is that like upper plat or is that actually diamond so far?
it's diamond.
Okay. Cool. What rate are you playing Zerg?
Yeah, play Zerg.
Okay.
That's my main.
Yeah, easy, dude. I got you, man. But yeah, okay, cool. So, what do you think you struggle with the most if you had to put your finger on it, or is it kind of just everything?
I kind of want to say like unit composition. I mean, you probably have a different take on it, obviously, because
Sure.
your background. But from what I see, I think it's like unit composition
What?
and probably scouting, obviously.
Okay.
But
Yeah, no, for sure. I would say, okay, give me an idea actually of what race you think is like difficult to deal with then, for unit composition, or just is it all of them again?
Protoss is probably like the most difficult because they do the most, you know, changey things.
Yeah.
They like change pretty much like really fast. And Zerg, obviously, it's a mirror matchup, so I think that's something I could work out myself.
Yeah.
But
Because I would
you know.
I would say you could play a generic style in Diamond, and if you execute it well enough, it will definitely like it could have like uh like a reaction like activator kind of thing where it's like, oh, if he does this, I do this, but it doesn't have to be something as technical as being like, okay, what composition does he have exactly, and like how tank heavy is it, or how Colossus heavy is it, or how Stargate heavy is it, or whatever. Like it doesn't have to be so technical to be like, I need to counter the exact composition he has, and every game it's going to be different. It could be something as simple as, is he going for ground or is he going for air overall? Like, and like you could figure that out by like going, you know, what kind of units is he fighting me with right now? Is it a bunch of fucking air units or is it a bunch of ground units?
Right.
So that could be as simple as that. And a really easy composition you could go for, literally in all three matchups, could be something like this. Against Protoss, you could go Roaches into Hydras with like also having access to Speedlings, and then just go into like Hydra Lurker against
Like,
what's up?
sorry about that. I think like the biggest issue with Protoss is their abilities, like Storm and Disruptors.
Yeah, sure. Don't
Like
for sure.
those do like massive amounts of damage, and I haven't really figured out how to,
Do you ever
mitigate that. So,
do you ever use Hive Tech Lurkers, like Hive Tech upgraded Lurkers?
oh man, I've been trying to use them, but they're really like micro intensive, so I'll just go Broodlords.
Uh, Broods are I, mean, I see where I see where you're coming from.
Dude, that.
I see where you're coming from here, but broods are
Uh,
broods are fucking like, I actually think, I'm not gonna lie, I think broods are probably more micro
slow as
intensive. Well,
shit.
I think they're even more micro intensive versus a Protoss who
Oh,
has a
really?
proper setup versus you than a lurker would be. Because a lurker, you just shove it in their face and you just burrow it, and then you just kind of
Oh,
like,
okay, I
you
got
kind of
you.
just like let it do its work, and then as soon as they back up, like up row, move forward and shove it in their face again and burrow it. But with a broodlord,
Yeah.
if that unit overextends ever, you have to be very careful about that. It can't
Oh yeah, you're
retreat,
screwed.
and it just dies. Also, broodlords allow here's a big thing too, is broodlords take longer to get than lurkers. So, like, it's a more expensive army. It's an army you can't even start making until you have a greater spire as well, and it will extend the game longer, and it gives the Protoss more time to react properly. So you'll have a more diverse scary Protoss by the time you have broods, anyways. But with lurkers, you can
The
get.
lurkers do you actually like recommend to have on
So
your army?
that's where it would change a little bit. I would say if he has air, make like 8. And if he has ground, make like 14 or something. Like 12, 14.
Okay.
And then you're good to go. And then literally just make like a bunch of hydras behind it. And then always push with your lurkers first and burrow them, and then have your hydras follow them in. And that would be the easy, like a nice standard way to deal with Protoss. Zerg, you could deal with Zerg with literally just going Mass Roach Ravager, and then add in hydras if they go mutas. Otherwise, just literally just Roach Ravager. Like we're talking like 8 Ravagers and Mass Roaches, and that's it. It's literally, that matchup is super basic if you want to make it to where like you get really good at Roach Ravager styles. It's very fucking strong. Even in GM, it's
Dude.
still really strong.
I've been getting good at doing it because of all the every single game on ladder lately has been like Zerg, 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 Zerg,
No, for
like
sure.
literally
Yeah.
8 in a row.
Yeah. No, if you do like a decent economy setup into Roach Ravager, it's super strong. And then ZVT, you could literally just go Lingbane Hydra as an opener all the time. But if you realize Terran's gonna go mech instead of, and that's if they're going bio, and you could just bio's harder to transition into if you don't pick it correctly first. So to not make it sound confusing, if you just open Lingbane Hydra every game, it works against Terran all the time. Like, it can work against Terran all the time if you're just good at executing that. And then if you realize, oh no, he's going mech, it's not actually bio, you could turn it into Hydra Swarm Host. Like, if it's like Turtle Mech with fucking, tanks and all this bullshit, and Thors.
Alright, I gotcha.
The only exception to all of this for Terran would be if they go for like Battle Mech and it's like a bunch of non-stop Hellion Cyclone action going on. Against that, the easiest thing I would recommend you do then would be you could eventually turn it into Hydra Swarm Host if he gets off that and starts going Tank Thor, things like that. But if he's just in the phase of the game where he is just going mass Hellion Cyclone, you could literally make roaches, mass roaches, get burrow move, and then burrow move under his army, and then up burrow when you're underneath him, and you can just kill his army. It's so, like, Cyclones, if they get caught, they're just dead.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, Terran really isn't that difficult of a race for me to play. Like, it's only difficult when they do, like, drops in multiple areas at one time. That's about it.
Yeah,
but,
no,
like,
for sure. That's where
as for all the races, it's kind of like Protoss is, like, the most annoying.
Sure. So you said you have replay. Did you want to look at a Protoss replay today?
Man, my replays are so messed up, man, that it's like, because I play this game regardless. Like, I don't really care about my MMR.
Yeah,
so
sure,
it's like,
fine.
I'll play when I'm tired or whatever.
So, like,
Like,
your replays aren't, like, titled or anything? You like, don't know what you'd find, essentially?
yeah, they're all, like, fluctuating, too, like, in skill level and stuff like that.
Ah, sure, that's fine. Okay, so, I mean, a replay it's not mandatory. It's not something we have to do. We have other ways we could go about this. I could walk you through a build that I think would be good for you, overall, against Protoss. And I could give you timers that you should be looking at in the game that make sense to give you, like, reactions that would make you not die, essentially, versus, like, your average Protoss player.
Yeah.
We could also do, like, live coaching if I got someone from the stream, to like a Protoss player, maybe to play you. We could do that, too. And I could give you a live breakdown of what's going on.
Yeah, that'd probably work.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, if anyone from the stream right now is on that is in the diamond range of Protoss, I could use you for a ZvP right now. Okay, we got someone. Yo, Drachnus, get on, bro.
Me.
Let's do it. All right, I'll make a game. And then Drachnus, all you gotta do when you get on, just literally type /join space Vibu. Easy peasy. Just so you can join. Like, unless you're in the group chat already, then that also works. But a lot of people get confused about joining group chats. They're like, what the hell is this? So if you just join Vibu, that'll be a channel I can just pick you up from. Oh, I already see you. Fuck yeah, you're already on. Punctual. I love you, man. All right, I'm making the game right now. I will invite you as well, Grim, and then get Drachnus in here. And then, okay, so, I'm gonna make myself a spectator. Drachnus, you're in. So, basically, before we start this, Drachnus, you do whatever the hell you want to do, okay? No restrictions. Play however the fuck you play Protoss. But Grim, for you, if we're gonna do a build that is gonna be something that I would recommend for you, for instance, what I said earlier, which was basically, I'll walk you through it as we go, but what it is, is like a speedling opener into roaches, and then you turn that into hydras, and then you can turn that into lurkers. And then eventually your composition turns into hydra lurker with the ability to have speedling run bys. That's essentially how the build would go. If you want me to walk through my build and have you walk you through that, 100% I will. It's going to probably be a little bit overwhelming though because you're doing it live and I'm going to be walking you through it the whole time. Another way we can do,
Especially since I'm dyslexic too.
yeah,
That's good.
I mean, it's gonna feel overwhelming as fuck, but you're gonna learn something from it. Another way we can approach this is I could let you just kind of do whatever the hell you want to do, and I could advise you into things you probably should be doing with your build. Like, but yeah, if your build is inoptimal, it's gonna feel harder. So
Okay.
I would say either way works. I could either see your problems or I could give you a guide.
Probably like problems would probably be the best way
Okay,
because I've
yeah.
been practicing the same thing like over and over and over
Okay,
and
yeah.
over. So
Okay,
it's
yeah.
like,
I'll let you take the reins. You do your thing now, and I'm gonna actually make myself a referee then, and so I can pause the game at times, and I might talk to you about why you're making decisions that you're doing for a second.
okay.
Because if you're doing something that is super inoptimal, we'll try to figure out, maybe a better way to approach things. Okay, so if you guys are both ready, just Grims, let me know, and Dracnus, let me know in chat if you're ready, and we'll get it started.
Ready?
Ready? Okay, good luck. Good luck, guys. And then, yeah, I won't talk to you too much. I'll just kind of make notes about how you're playing, essentially. And then I'll only pause it if it looks like you're making some extreme fuck-ups. I'll let you kind of do your thing, and we'll talk about it after, mostly.
Hopefully you don't hear my keyboard clicking.
Oh, that's fine. It's not a big deal.
I got like the shittiest keyboard like ever.
Yeah, it's all good.
Uh,
Okay. So I kind of muted myself here on Discord for a sec. So he can't hear me. I'm just going to kind of watch what he does. And then I might advise him every now and again to be like, maybe think about scouting right now or some shit like that. But I'm not gonna try to distract him too much. I'm gonna just kind of like have an idea of how he's playing.
dude, I feel under pressure.
You're totally good, dude. You're doing great. Okay, you're doing great already. You got a hatchery down before you got blocked. Good job. Yeah, nothing really too heavy happening so far. It's okay. This gas is fine. This guys can pull right after. This is fine. I like it. I hope if he's not gonna go for an all-in, I want him to maintain minimum priority. And yeah, he looks like he's doing that. He's filling up the eggs on the gas. That looks good. I like it. I like it. He's got his overload of a natural. I like it. Okay. So far, nothing's really wrong with his build. I like that he's also still making drones before the hatchery was done. He's like delaying the overload a little bit to maximize economy because he's not going to get attacked by anything right now if he's not getting cannon rushed. So far his build's great. It's fine. The only thing I would say is maybe a hiccup is how early he sent the drone to the natural. He waited for a little bit, but that's so minor. It's not even a big deal. Now, what's he gonna do with the gas? This is the huge one. This is where everyone fucks it up. Okay, good job. He can't hear me, by the way, so he's doing it himself. So they're proud of him for doing that. Third base timing is nice. So far, his opener is great. I also really like how he's scouting deeper in the base. He did see double gateway, but I do like how he's scouting deeper in the base. He's also being very adamant about scouting around the map for like other stuff. This, I would say, it's nice. It's not bad to do that, but it's not necessary if he sees this. There's absolutely no proxy right now if he sees the Stargate. We'll talk about that when I talk to him. I'm gonna actually write that down. So, because that's just wasted effort right there. And if it fucks up his macro at all, I mean, if he doesn't fuck up his macro, it's not a big deal. But if it fucks up his macro in any way, it's not worth it. Because it logically is impossible for the Protoss to have proxies at this point in time. Okay, oh, I don't like his Overlord either. Keep OV on edge vision of SG to see what comes first out of SG. His Overlord should be like right there, right now. Just watching what the Protoss builds. And instead of being over here, just having a powwow. That's huge. Because now he doesn't know what he's up against. And the reason why that's a big deal is because if it's an Oracle or a fucking Void Ray, you need to make spores faster or later. If you don't make spores versus an Oracle, and it is an Oracle, you're going to lose way more drones than it costs to make spore. Really good scout on the third. It's 2 Adepts coming at his base. He is being pretty fucking greedy. So... A move the drones if he did, that would be huge there, but yeah, it's okay. I mean, it is what it is.
I'm down, queen.
So, let's talk about that too. This is over. Second gateway equals 100% make safety lings 12 to 16. Because now we made a bunch of lings anyways, but it's like way after the fact. Overall, not doing bad though. Overall, okay, he needs to fix his gas. His gas is fucked up in the main. Fix gas in main after good saturation of natural. His gas is fucked. His gas is super delayed. He's gonna have no fucking gas to do anything at layer now. His gas is too, like, he's gonna have a, this basically is a ling build right now, not a roach build. I'm gonna tell him to fix his gas. Don't forget to fix your gas in your main. Dude, you're gonna be starving otherwise. Whatever, it's okay. I'll let him, I'm really trying not to distract him as much as possible. Where right now would also be a really good time to take a 4th base. And probably a couple more queens, because you can definitely afford it. And then it would help your creep spread as well. And also deal with Stargate at the same time. Okay. 4th base dying equals bad creep spread. Talk about queens. Yeah, he's 100% having a problem because his creep spread is lacking like crazy. His creep is non-existent. His, I'm gonna keep. Oh yeah, gotta tell him. Definitely make more of an effort, as much as you can now, to spread more creep. The Void Rays are only a problem because you have no creep spread. So he can't hear me again right now, but I have an idea. I'm gonna play this dude after Grim Faith plays this dude. I want to talk about his build, but I want to give him an example of what I'll do his build, literally what he's going for, and I'm gonna, because his build's good overall. It's actually got a lot of potential. I see what he's going for. It's greedy as fuck. I love it. But yeah, I want to talk to him about some key points when this game's over, and then give him an example build, because his creep is fucking him so bad. That is why he's struggling. He's gonna lose his base again too now, because he has no creep. If you're ever a Zerg player and you fall in a situation like this, these voids are doing irreparable damage right now to Zerg, and the reason why is because if the Zerg and the Protoss have equal economy, Protoss is winning the game. And it's not always the case, but this army is more efficient than this army. The Void Rays are more efficient, as you can see. Way more efficient, right? And you have to outmine this to take advantage of this. You cannot have equal economy to Protoss and win the game. Because this army will, if cost efficiently fuck you, if you're mining the same, you will lose in the end. So you have to have like the only way to get around this is if you're going to maintain like a combi that's not as good as the Protoss or like equal to Protoss, is if you're doing like an all-in Hydra attack or something. And that's obviously not what he's going for. So, and I'd like that he's not going for that because it's kind of not a great strategy. It's really easily counterable for Protoss. So he's now what's happening is Grimfaith is playing from behind, and it's hard now, right? If you're ever playing from behind, the game is super fucking hard. So all he can do now is play a super cost-efficient style of Zerg because Hydras at this point in time, it's going to be really hard for mass Hydras to work if Protoss gets some type of developed Skytoss, or if he adds in like some type of supporting unit like mass charge lots or Colossus or something, or disruptors. It's going to be really hard for Hydras to work so at this point. But yeah, 100% Grimfaith's biggest weakness here is his fucking creep spread. He has none. So he's like, if this base got hit now, it would die right now. There is no creep anywhere. And that's what's about to happen. These voids they have speed now, and they're chugging along to top right. This game might end right now if these zealots move out. If these zealots don't move out, he's just gonna get further behind because 100% this base is gonna die before he gets reinforced. Because from Grimfaith's vision, he didn't see the voids until they're right there, and by the time they're right there, he has no time to react. So now the army comes up, but the voiders are gone by the time anything happens. You can't have bad creep spread against Skytoss. Like, creep spread is mandatory. That's gonna be the biggest thing we talk about is this creep spread when this is over.
Mutation complete.
Alright, I'm gonna give him some ideas here. I'm gonna talk to him again. Alright, so the biggest thing you can do for yourself right now is really expedite your creep spread. Fix that shit as much as you can. A rule of thumb is you need creep touching both walls of the map. Otherwise, these voids will always punish you like this. And then it's getting to a point now where it's done a lot of built upon damage upon itself on you. So you're kind of like getting to a point where it's really difficult to deal with here. The only way you can now honestly really deal with the Protoss who's in a state of the position he's kind of in is if you have spellcasters. So the best thing you could do for yourself right now would be don't try to all in him, because if you do, you're probably gonna die. But instead, get rid of like your roaches and try to replace that with like infestors. And then if you actually can catch the voids in a fungal, or use Viper, Vipers would also work. But I think in the particular situation you're in, I'd probably go for infestors, only because microbial shot and fungal would be super useful. But the only reason why you need to have it as a spellcaster is because you're super far behind now. So the game shouldn't be in the position it's in, because if you just Hydra all in, you're gonna die. You've basically missed the window for just Hydras to win the game now. So that's something we'll talk about a lot when this is over. So try to recover your bases, try to spread your creep, and try to make infestors, I would say. And in the meantime, if you don't have enough gas, make Zerglings and go counterattack and try to prevent expansions. And really spread your creep. Your creep is your biggest weakness that I can by far see right now. That is the biggest thing you need to improve upon going forward. And I know it feels shitty every time you lose a base like that, but that's why you gotta spread your creep. So that stops happening. And then if you have a couple infestors, you can punish him when he overcommits like that. Okay, and now you can see his army is also Archon Zealot. So if you have Lurker as well, you could have like a good like 8 Lurkers or so, and then have infestors behind it. Like Hydra, Lurker, Infestor. And then only use, you don't have to make a lot of infestors. So like 8 Lurker and like 4 infestors. Not even a lot of infestors.
Holy guacamole.
Yeah, so it's I'm telling you right now, the reason why this is happening to you is because your creep spread.
Yeah,
100%.
sorry I wasn't talking. I was just
No,
trying
you're
to
no,
like
no.
listen to
I
you
don't
and
mind.
focus.
It does. I'm not bothered at all. I want you to focus. That's why I try not to talk to you most of the time. But this game is starting to like fall into a point where you can't win anymore, which is why I started talking more.
No, it's good.
But yeah, if you just replace your bases, you keep trying to spread creep because you really got to spread creep. If you don't spread creep, you're gonna 100% gonna lose the game. And then try to like get more active teamers out there. Try to just absorb his army with Lurker, Infester, and Hydra. And okay, here we go. You can fungal him if you get range on it. If you fungal those voids, you could punish it so hard. And normally I don't want you going Infestors overall. It's just you don't have a choice this game because if you're dead otherwise either way if you don't make them.
Yeah.
It's one of those Infestors is the only unit you have to make if you're in a situation where Protoss is maxed on Sky Toss. Because if you just have Hydras then 100% you're gonna die.
Damn. That sucks. Those base snipes are awesome.
No, for sure, right? It's voids are super annoying. And okay, so basically the way you would need to win this game from now without taking a massive risk would be throw out some changelings to help you, like don't go to his base with them, but put them in like in areas where you think he's gonna go, like top middle, bottom middle, middle of the map, like halfway across the map essentially. So you can like spot him walking by it, and if he doesn't kill the changeling, you'll have a nice spotter. That way you're not gonna always be surprised when he shows up. And then another
my workers.
Yeah, it's getting a big army. And then another thing you need to be doing is definitely getting some lurkers. Get rid of your roaches. You have like a few roaches still. You have 3 roaches still. Get rid of your lings too. You have 7 lings. And try to get some lurkers in your army. And you also have some drones in your natural that are chilling doing nothing. But if you don't have any lurkers and he pushes you with everything, you're gonna have a hard time. Because he does have Storm and Archon and Zealot. And that's why lurkers is like, as we said earlier, you always want to have lurkers against Protoss. It's just how many is really the difference. Like 8 is nice, or like 14 or some shit's nice, or like 10 or 14. A little bit less for ground armies, a little bit less for air armies, and a little bit more for ground armies. And this guy's going heavy air, so a little bit less makes sense because lurkers hit ground only. You just need lurkers then to cover like the hydras from storm and shit. What rank is he? He's diamond.
You kind of have to like anticipate where he's gonna go, and you have
because you have no creep spread.
Scouts out.
Well,
I meant like to get the fungals off and stuff. Like you have to have vision.
I mean, kinda, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's probably GG out or.
Well, I mean, you still could do it. I mean, so this is why you need lurkers. Yeah, if you engage that army straight up with hydras like that, you have to like let him walk into lurker rather than you walking into storm. But yeah, you're now that fight went like that, you're definitely gonna die. So I would say yeah, you can GG out. It's all good. So let's talk about.
It's a good game.
Let's talk about this.
Good game to learn from.
Yeah, let's. I'm gonna share my screen really fast on Discord just so you can see where I'm looking with my camera, because you can't follow my camera in the replay, unfortunately.
Hold on 1 second.
No worries. Take your time.
My computer's here's a potato.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Hey, can I be back like 1 second?
Yeah.
Like 1 second?
Yeah, go for it. It's all good. I kept getting upgrades. Yo, Dracnus, would you mind chilling for just a second? And if Grimfaith wants to, I'd like to play you myself with basically what he tried to go for against you, and then give him more of like a example of what his build is capable of. So I get punished by Big Daddy Vaibu, I'm down. Okay, thank you, dude. I appreciate you helping. What Zerg ground unit does not benefit from creep spread? A drone. That's it. And a changeling. Every other unit does.
Alright, sorry about that.
No worries. Alright, so can you see my my screen on Discord so you can see what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so overall, a couple things to talk about in the start of the game. But it'll help you set up nicely. And before I really jump into this, I want to ask you something if you're cool with it. If you're not, we don't have to do this. Obviously, it's your coaching lesson. I'm not forcing you to do anything. But if it sounds good, you let me know. So what I was thinking is we'll break down this replay for you really fast and talk about some key points that I think are relevant to talk about. And then if you'd like, I'd like to play and have you spectate. And I'll do exactly what you were going for here against Drachnus, myself. And I'll show you a way where you can, I'll try to break it down as I go through it. I'll talk to you as I do it and tell you what your priorities should be. And then give you an example of what your build is capable of if you prioritize the right shit. Does that sound good?
Okay. No, that sounds good.
Okay. So overall, in the beginning of the game, when you scouted right here, this is something that is relevant, okay? Because you scouted a Protoss who made a second gateway before the core is even done. Now, that is relevant only because of one reason. No matter what, you should pretty much always have the idea that when your link speed is going to finish, you need to make safety links. And this only reinforces that even more. Because there is more possibility that he could do gateway pressure to you if that was going to be what he wants to do. Another reason why... Or go ahead, sorry. What's up?
No, I was saying there's no time to make roaches. I usually make the roach thing after the link speed's done. Is there's just not enough time? Or?
So no. Yeah, I mean, making the roach warren is totally fine. Like around like 330, 340. That's great. But if you just skip making lings altogether, the way you took damage from adepts was pointless. Early, like a little bit later on. You lost like 5 drones to adepts or something like that, and then you still made lings anyways. So if you need to make the lings. That's the whole reason why you do speedling expand, like, is because it, like, not only does it just help you defend the adepts, but it also helps you harass the third base. I'm not telling you to go mass lings and like all in them with lings. You just make like 14 of them, and then and that's it. And you still made that many anyways. You just made them after your drones died. And if you made them before your drones died, no drones would die, and it's more larva efficient. And then you could also be annoying to him and harass his third if you feel the opportunity to do that. So you have to make lings. And when you make them, is you don't have to make them right off the bat unless an adept is coming to your base right away. Then you have to make a few lings of those 14 like right away, like 6. And here's an idea, okay? This is an idea how to read Protoss. Your Overlord's crossing. Core finishes, and you can see a lot of info here as your Overlord is crossing over it. This is going to be very normal. If the Protoss ever opens up Gateway Nexus into Core, this is always going to happen this way. Overlord's going to be crossing through as the buildings finish. Now you can tell if a unit is being built in the Gateway because the lights are like flashing in the top of the crystal here. And then a Core, you can tell when it's upgrading something because its little circular disc on the top of it starts spinning like crazy fast. So it's not spinning at all. You can see he's not upgrading yet, but he is building a unit out of that gateway, at least for right now. And then it's still not spinning, it's still not spinning, it's still not spinning, it's still not spinning, still not spinning, still not spinning, and now you're out of vision. So, but in this unit, or this building also was building something the entire time. Now, this is important to understand this because if his building is building something the entire time before the core is even done, it can't be an adept and it can't be a fucking stalker. It's probably a zealot. And if the core is not upgrading, that's relevant because if he's not misspinning gas on the gateway, and if he's not spinning gas on the core, he's spinning his gas on something else. So the odds of him going for tech really fast are very high. And odds are high chance if someone's going to rush tech really fast, it's probably going to be a Stargate, because if Protoss skips all forms of gateway defense really early, and they go for a council or they go for a robo, there's a higher chance that they're going to die to an all-in. Like, you can kill them with a Zerg before they get to a lot of Immortals or like Dark Templars, before they have it, if you just straight up roach all in them. So if they go Stargate, it kind of covers that. They can't really die as easy. It's really hard to kill a Protoss who has a Stargate really fast. So the fact that you saw Stargate as you went through his base is very likely to happen already, from the information that he provided you here. He wasn't spinning gas there, and he wasn't spinning gas there initially. He's saving all of his gas for something. It's probably a Stargate. Now, that's why I love that you scouted further forward. That fucking makes a lot of sense. I love that you did that. That was really, really, really good to do that, because if it is a Dark Shrine and you don't, or like a council into a Dark Shrine, and you don't punish him for that, and you also don't scout that, and you don't prepare for it, you could die super fast to DTs. So, the fact that you scouted in is great. Now, here's another thing that's relevant, okay? This is something you should know when you scout a Protoss. If a Protoss is playing Standard, and their core finishes, make a note of when it finishes, and add 30 seconds to that, and that's when a unit should pop out of their gateway, if they make a unit out of their core, a gate combo, right when the core is done. Because a Stalker and an Adept both have a 30-second build time. And this is really relevant because of this reason right here. If 30 seconds goes by from right now to 2:47, okay? If we hit 2:47 on the clock, have a mental note of that. Like, you're making drones the whole time up to that point, but around 2:47, if a Stalker does not attack your Overlord in about 5 seconds, like if your Overlord by 2:47 is like right there, and if a Stalker does not be made, walk up the ramp and shoot your Overlord within about 5 seconds of 2:47, so we're talking now, what's 5 plus 2:47? That's like 2:52. If by 2:52 your Overlord hasn't been shot by a Stalker yet, you probably want to expect that that's an Adept coming to your base. And you should probably make like 6 Lings, because if he's the kind of Protoss player that's going to walk 1 Adept into your mineral line, again, you don't want to lose even any drones at all, ideally. And if you had 6 Lings plus a Queen, you could shove him away and not lose drones. And then shortly after that, your Ling speed would be finishing. And if you do make Lings early, or if you don't make Lings early, it doesn't matter. You should always go up to about 14-ish Lings. It could be 16 or something, it's fine. Just don't make like 30. That's way too many. Literally try to stop around like 14, 16 Lings and stop. Maybe 12 even. 12's on the low end. Like 12 to 16. Anywhere in that range is great. So do the math on it. Be like, oh, I have 6 already. Let's make like 10 more. Let's make 8 more. Whatever. But as soon as your Ling speed is like, it's a 79-second upgrade. Well, as soon as it's like 65-ish seconds into production, like it's almost done, like 90% or above, around there, make the rest of your Lings. And then as soon as they're done, you can now defend yourself against Adepts, and you can also go across the map and poke a third base or Protoss. So that is huge info for the opener of versing a Protoss, and it's all very relevant.
23 months of bugging boo.
Thank you, Apoptosis. It's all very relevant. So far, do you have any questions about what I just talked about in that scenario so far?
No, it makes sense.
Okay. So that it's important to know, only because you don't want to make Lings like this, like you do against Terran. Okay, what you're doing is a Zerg versus Terran style opener. This is why I'm really talking about it a lot, because if the core finishes at 217, he physically can't have an Adept pop out of the gateway until 247, and then he can't get across the map until he can't actually be at your base from his gateway until probably like 310. So you made these Lings about a full minute early, and this could have been drones mining minerals. And it's relevant to giving you leads in the game. The only reason why you ever make Lings early against Protoss is if you're getting proxied. Like proxy cannon or something like that, and you need to make Lings to like kill shit. So definitely only do this against Terran, because this is really relevant for a Reaper. Totally relevant to like stopping a Reaper, but not relevant to stopping Adepts. At this point in the game, it's too early. But I love your third. That was great. That was super good. I loved your gas pull off the gas as soon as you started speed. That was, and you pulled 2 off. That was great. All these things were looking good. One thing I didn't like, though, is as soon as you scouted the Stargate, this is super important to know again. Your Overlord went out of his base, but your Overlord should have stopped right here. This is like the perfect location to stop right here. And the reason why is because right here, look at your vision. You can still see the gateway, or the Stargate. But look at his vision. He can't see the Overlord. A Stargate does not have as much vision as an Overlord does. So if he doesn't double check this, he won't even know you're there. And it's really important to know this, to leave it here, to know what he fucking builds first. Because it changes how greedy you can be. If the guy builds an Oracle first, because you can also, if you didn't know this, you can see what unit he makes first by the outline of the graphic. It's like a holographic unit in the Stargate. And you'd be like, oh, it's a holographic Oracle. It's a holographic Banana. It's a Void Ray. It's a holographic Phoenix. You can tell what he builds before he builds it. Out of the Stargate. Like, watch, if we go to the vision of the game now, he'll build something and you can tell what it is. So he'll build it. Gotta speed it up until he builds it. So, do you see how that's a you can see the graphic of a Void Ray inside of the Stargate. It's really long. Yeah, it's just really long. It has the outline of a void, so you can tell it's a Void Ray. And a Void Ray already kind of confirms like you're going to be dealing with someone who did what he did to you. Essentially, you're like, oh fuck, okay, we're gonna be dealing with a guy who flies in my bases repeatedly and attacks me with voids and shit all day. And the 100% perfect way to counter Void Ray is to straight up change the pathing of your creep spread. And so a normal game with Zerg, what you want to do is you want to spread your creep directly diagonally across the map, and as you spread it like directly across, you like branch it off downwards and upwards as you go across the map. You're like trying to cover the middle of the map as fast as you possibly can and then branch off as you go. But again,
I had a question about the sorry about that. I didn't mean like interrupt you like mid thought process.
Do not mind. Go for it.
The second queen, because I remember you saying one time that when you off the natural you make the queen, like you immediately put a tumor down. Is that like pretty much that situation in this case too, or is it you wait for the second queen?
No,
yeah, because right when I did it, I was like, "Fuck."
You 100% should spread your creep first here, and the reason why is because you're going for a third base with Speedling Expand, and you can't protect your bases properly with just. So keep this in mind, okay? This is why, if there's any Zerg out there that has ever wondered why the fuck do you go for a creep tumor if you're gonna go for a Speedling Expand, and then if a guy ever tells you so you can defend your drones properly, which is what I always tell people, that is relevant to it, but here's why. This is the overall main reason why. When I say to protect your drones properly, it's not because of Zerglings. It's because of queens. You're supposed to make a lot of drones, which take larvae, so you're not going to be using that larva on Zerglings as much as possible. You're only going to make the safety round that like I initially talked about before. You're not going to make like 40 lings to defend every type of attack that continuously happens to you. It's about having queens being able to be mobile, to run up and down at will and not run like a slug across the screen, and they can defend everything because they can always be in the right position before it happens, and creep spread provides that for you. So queens allow you to make everything with your larva that is not defense but instead greed, and queens are defense instead, and this reinforces to make queens right now as well because he's going Stargate. So it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect to make a little bit of extra queens, because creep spread counters this build 100%, and then queens counter this build 100%. It's like double positives. Like queens are the best thing you can make against this. So
it was like really detrimental not to have the tree spread
100%,
over all the areas.
And and like I said before, against pretty much every build in the game, you want to spread towards their base and then branch off to the sides of the map first. But against this build specifically, this build is so powerful at flying in the side of your base and then popping your hatchery immediately. So instead of going directly across the map and then branching off sideways, you go directly to the edges of the map and branch off going towards the middle. It reverses. You want a creep tumor literally going directly down to the wall, and you want a creep tumor going directly up to the wall as fast as you can. Like you want creep on the edges first, and then you go forward off the edges. Otherwise, you're going to have Void Rays going concealed all the time, just like, oh, wait, what? He popped out of Fog of War, and I'm dead now. He popped out of Fog of War, and I'm dead now. Like, it's just, you have no time to react. So creep spread needs to reverse the order of how you spread. You go sideways first, and then forward, not forward and then sideways. So that's huge. So keeping your Overlord in vision of seeing what comes out of the Stargate is really relevant. Again, it reinforces you should be making queens and creep spread. And then, yeah, the order of how you spread your creep too is fucking huge. And then another thing too you need to fix for sure is as soon as your mineral line looks like this at the natural, when you're fully saturated, fix your gas in your main. You waited so long to fix this gas in the main. You fixed this gas in the main around like 5 minutes. And it should be getting fixed like now as you start the rich one.
For some reason, like the taking the gases like feels like really unnatural because before I was taking them, you know, after a queue in the game, like the speedling speed was done, and then you kind of said that you don't do that, you wait. So now I'm kind of like arbitrarily trying to figure out when to take the gases and stuff like that.
This is when you should go for gas.
Time,
This is when you should go for gas. Right now, you should fill the gas back up in the main when you're fully saturated on the natural, and it allows you to have the ability, if you need to make roaches. Because with the way you did it this game, there was no fucking way you could make roaches early on if you actually needed them. And when the time you would need them is if this guy didn't attack you with 2 adepts, but instead he attacked you with like 7 adepts or 8 adepts. If he's the kind of Protoss that's like, I'm gonna just keep making adepts at a double gateway the entire time, that is a problem if you have no roaches or if you don't have enough lings. And you have to have something. And roaches are the cheaper version of larvae because they don't take as much larvae. You can make like 5 larvae of roaches as opposed to like 20 larvae of lings or like 16 larvae of lings. So
yeah, because I was using the timing as in the third base gets to 8 drones and then go ahead and take 2, 3 gases or whatever.
That's correct.
I was like,
that is correct for the extra gases, but you didn't fix your gas in your main.
no, I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got you.
So the other gases are fine. I just didn't like the fact that you waited so long to fix this because you're missing out on probably like 100 gas that you should have going forward from here, which is going to help a lot at setting up things like your initial roach speed or initial roaches if you need them, which your lings should tell you if you do or don't, stuff like that. And we'll talk about that in a second with your ling scout. But yeah, anyways, those are the problems I just talked about are pretty much it that you have. Otherwise, your build was not bad. The only thing you really sucked on, I would say, throughout the rest of this game was not enough queens and definitely not enough creep spread. That's something that never went away the entire game, and that fucked you like crazy. But for the opener, those are the only things you really messed up on. You didn't scout the Stargate well enough, I would say, and your gas was a little bit fucked up, and you didn't make lings properly. Otherwise, you did a great job, honestly.
This is where I said kind of like the varying and skill level kind of happens. When I play when I'm tired, I play when this, fully rested and stuff like that, because there'll be other games where I'll spread creep pretty well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then other games, just typical stuff,
For sure. And this is the part here where you don't have lings. Like, this is pretty huge for you.
Dude, I misclicked so hard right there. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Clicked off the links, run the wrong direction.
Yeah. Like, right
Oh,
there.
man.
Yeah, like right there you lost. You still made the lings anyways. You still have pretty much the right amount of lings you're wanting to get, but you lost 8 drones in the process.
I'm starting to notice like how stupid the AI is in the game sometimes. I mean, what I did here was kind of smooth brain too, but I mean, like sometimes the AI is like
no, for sure.
It's like stupid,
Ideally though, if look at this though, if we go back, you have 2 adepts in your base, right? Now they're coming in, but your link speed's already done. And if you timed your lings properly with ling speed, like almost like so, if ling speed's like, if you started lings right about now, anywhere around like 60 plus, honestly, like around it looks like that on the grid graph, whatever the bar. That's when you want to make lings, when it's almost done. And the reason why you want to make lings when it's almost done is because the build time of the ling is 17 seconds, and 17 seconds is going to be if it's around here. Ling speed and the lings you just made are going to finish about the same time. And it's perfect timing for you then to get across the map and go poke him or defend some bullshit if you get attacked by it, if the Protoss decides to bring adepts to your base instead. Wherever the fuck they are. Where the fuck are they from him right now? Or he's walking out of his base right now. So yeah, you get the point. Yeah, if you had lings here, you would shut this down so hard. So goddamn. Like the second then it also, by the way, you should 100% be seeing it by right about now. Your creep spread should be so much further than it is. Like, it's nothing at the moment. Like, as you said, you injected first. That's huge. Vision is so important against Protoss. Like, defensive vision is massive against Protoss. So this was definitely unnecessary. And then if this happens too, where the lings are dumb, the easy way to fix it would be, you could literally A move here, and you could green box some of your lings and right click up here, and then A move again, and that'd be fine. But it's whatever. I mean, that was definitely punishing to you a little bit. And then your scout right here, or earlier on, sorry, you scouted like at 4, like just after, like right about, like we just saw it. Your scout at this point in the game, I loved it. Okay, this is relevant to talk about for a second though. Right here, this scout is nice. because this scout right now is something you should have 14 lings with, or like 16 lings with. This shouldn't be a 1 ling scout. This should be a scout that has more lings than this. And then this is a moment where if the Protoss player attacked you with adepts, you could kill the adepts with your lings. That's fine. But if you scout this and you had like 14 lings instead of just 1 ling here, you could actually fucking kill this Nexus, and you could deny it, and you could set him back. And that's another reason why the 14 lings are so important to make when your speed's done. If you time that properly and then go for the hunting of the third as well, like you hunt adepts first, and then you hunt fucking a third base after, you can actually deny this and like kill the probe, and this could massively stunt Protoss' economy. And Hydras work when you have more economy. You gotta realize that. If you and the Protoss have the same exact economy, Hydras don't really work very well. Unless you're gonna just straight up all in and not make economy. And you're going to stop making drones at like 44 drones, and you're just going to go for it for 1 attack and hopefully win the game there. It's the only way that would work otherwise. So this would be huge opportunity for Lings too. But it's fine. I mean, I love that you scouted it. That's another great thing you did. The fact that you realize it exists is super good, because this already tells you that you're dealing with, it's a sky toss, it's a Stargate opener that goes into a really fucking fast third like this. This tells you this guy is 100% going to use this. This is not a fake third. This is a real third. It's not some all-in build. This guy is 100% going to macro against you, which means the odds of him making more voids is a lot more likely now. Or the odds of him setting up a build that's going to attack you probably around like 8 minutes or something, or 7 minutes at the earliest, is way more likely now. If a Protoss, this is something that every Zerg needs to know against Protoss. If a Protoss player takes a third base around 4 minutes and 45 seconds to 5 minutes, and that 15-second threshold of time, 4:45 to 5 minutes on the clock, that Protoss is doing something that is standard, that also has opportunity to harass you. That is like a 4-gate style build off of 2 bases that can then take a third base safely. So and the reason why it's standard is because it's really hard to stop the Protoss from taking the third base, because it's safe how Protoss takes it. They will have, most of the time, enough units to defend it. So they won't lose their third, but it's not super fucking greedy either. So 4:45 to 5 minutes is normal for Protoss. If a Protoss takes a third base way earlier than that, at like 3 minutes and 50 seconds, that is fucking ridiculously greedy. That is so greedy. Super greedy. That means that this dude is not gonna, if he attacks you, it's 100% just gonna be a little bit of harass, like voids or something, and voids are super easy to shut down if you deal with it properly with the queens and stuff. But it 100% means that this dude is going to set this up, and he's not planning on doing a 2-base attack. He's planning on setting up a third base with real big greed, and he might take a 4th. He might do a 3-base all-in, like, or 3-base timing. Either one could work, but either way, you can't get attacked now for the next like 4 minutes. So you have a lot of time to prepare now. So that's what it looks like when the third base is really early like this, like sub 4 minutes. That's fucking ridiculously fast. And then if a Protoss player ever takes a third base, like we're talking like 5:20, 5:30, or even later, or just doesn't have one at all after like 5.5 minutes, get ready to be all in by 2 bases. Because if the Protoss doesn't have a third base started by 5:30, that motherfucker has 8 gateways. 100%. 8-gate Protoss, or he's going like 2-base Sky Toss or some shit, which is not good. Most Protosses, if they're going to 2-base on you, are going to have like 8 gates with like mass charge lots or something more practical. But yeah, that's so the fact that you scouted this early already confirms I can drone my ass off, and it feels great. So that was a great, important scout that you got off, and you should always keep trying to do that. It's just I want you to use more lings in the future so you can deny greed if it happens. And then from there, literally the rest of the game is just your creep spread needs to be fixed. So we can speed through it now, because again, from the rest of the point here, build-wise, good shit. Creep-wise, awful. The way you took your 4th was nice. I told you take a 4th, but yeah, like definitely take a 4th faster in the future. I remember telling you take a 4th because you're rich. You should be taking a 4th base as soon as all 3 of your bases are at 16 drones in the middle line. Just start a 4th immediately, even if you're not even done making gas, because you're gonna need it because your money's gonna go up really, really, really fast. And a good quota as well. And this is something that I'll show you when I give you an example in a second. If your creep is not touching your 4th by the time you take it, your creep is bad. Like you should be
Okay.
like, oh fuck, okay, well that's a quota for me. If my creep isn't there yet, I need to probably make it more of an effort to fix that, because you should never have a 4th base being thrown down like this, where it's like, I don't know what the fuck is out there. It's random. Who knows? Like, you should be able to defend it with queens and not have it be denied like that. And then same thing with this. Like this base is, all your bases, you know how it was. So many bases for like this entire game were just like exposed on the edge of vision, and you had no idea where Protoss was. So you never know where the Voiders are going, and they come back here and you have no idea, and your base dies again. So you got Wade, and then something we talked about, the concept here. The only way Hydras work from this point on is if you're able to maintain a higher economy than Protoss to the point to when you max out. Because then when you actually were walking across the map with all your Hydras, that's when it would work. If you had 85 drones and Protoss had 63 probes, and you maxed out and Protoss is at like 120 supply, you could totally fuck him up pretty hard right there with that attack. That would make sense. But you took so much damage repeatedly from the Voids, and it maintained an equal economy for both of you, which is not great for you, because his army is better than yours if you're just going Hydras. Our Hydras need to Hydras are cheaper and more supply inflating than Void Rays and Sky Toss and whatever is, and Storm and things like that. Those are more expensive units than what you're making. And the only reason why... Or go ahead, sorry.
I keep going.
No, I encourage you to do that. I want you to talk when you want to talk. I do not mind.
No, I was saying, like, now that it's getting into, you know, higher leagues and stuff like that, it kind of feels like whoever's good, you know, better at kicking each other in the nuts, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like the other guy kicks you in the nuts and gets rid of your expansion, and then they get more hit, and then it's like, you know.
Well, that's why I want to give an example, because it's actually way more easy to realize to deal with this than you might realize. It's very manageable if you know how to prioritize your creep and your queens. It'll be like the Protoss being like, fuck, I can't ever do anything to the Zerg, and then suddenly he's going to be the one going, okay, I have like 10 Void Rays versus like 45 Hydras. This is not good for me. So, your greed overall, I loved it. The way you made drones was great. It's just you didn't protect anything properly, and then you had a lot of problems. So overall, you got to realize, this is why I told you to go Infestors later on. If the Protoss can't break, and you're like, okay, shit, he's gonna be maxed out, and I'm gonna be maxed out. If he's gonna max out on Archon, on Carrier, on Mothership, on Templar, on Void Ray, all this combination of shit, and you're like, well, I'm just going to max out on Hydra only, you're going to die. There's no chance you win there. But if the Protoss maxes out on that really diverse army like that, you have to max out on, like, okay, I maxed out, and now I have Lurker, I have Infestor, I have Hydra, I have Spore Crawlers, I have Overseers, I have Creep. That's the only way you fucking have a chance.
So what you're saying is you better learn how to use control groups.
Well, you can do one control group, but you could stand, like, you could be like, all right, my spores will always be in the front, and my lurkers will be, like, checkerboarded into the spores. Like, I'll just, like, run into the spores and burrow in between them with my lurkers. So my lurker and my spore are kind of, like, in the same area. And then I'll stand with everything else behind it. And when he comes in the area, I'll just make sure my Hydras are not moving into the fight, but they're, like, standing pretty close behind my lurker, so that when he engages my spores and my lurkers with his units, I can shoot him off of that. And I can also microbial shroud my front line, essentially. And if he really engages it, I can fungal him, or something like that. And then he like, your lurkers will outrange everything he has on the ground. And if he has, like, carriers, you will kill all these interceptors off of him, off of yourself as you do it. And then when he takes a bad initial fight, you then can shove forward and attack him. But don't just, like, shove forward and attack him immediately. That's way more complex. I'm not gonna lie. You shouldn't even be dealing with that shit in Diamond mostly, because if you can't set up the Hydras properly anyways, you're never gonna make it to Masters anyways. And that shit is more like Masters level stuff. Like, I don't want you to think that every game I want you to make Infestors, and every game I want you to make this Spore Wall and all this shit, because it only means you have to make it if you fuck up the early game. It's like the negative. It's like, oh, well, I messed up the early game, so now I have to play the secondary part. It's not like the go-to. Your go-to is what I'm going to show you in a second. It's okay. Literally creep spread and just Hydra attack, and you will fucking break the Protoss like crazy. And it's not like, I'm not going to be playing like 700 APM. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, we'll just play like a gym player. It's just prioritizing creep spread. That's all it is. And like your economy and creep spread. But yeah, anyways, the rest of this game, you just fall apart because you have no creep spread, and you keep taking damage like you just did repeatedly, and you have no chance other than to play the supreme in game of the difficult composition to use a Zerg, which is again, that only works as well with creep spread, and you never spread it, so you were fucked either way. So we can bounce.
This was an exceptional game anyway for like practice purposes, you know. 'Cause
No, for sure. Yeah.
It's really good. So
all right, I will make a game really fast. So if you're not on, just jump back on, and I'll invite you to this game so you can have the replay. And then I will invite Dracnus one more time, and then I'll do an example build for you, and I'll walk you through it as I play it. And you feel free as well while I'm playing. Ask me questions. I do not mind talking while I play. All right, Dracnus. Also, Dracnus, thanks again for helping, man. I appreciate that. Okay, and then Dracnus, whenever you're ready, I'll go ahead and start it up. Just let me know, and we'll set this shit up.
I'm glad he did what he did actually, because like I said before, it's like a perfect learning experience.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I like it too. All right, so here we go. So I'm gonna be going into this game like again. I don't know exactly what he's doing. He probably will do the same thing. Dracnus, do whatever you want. But yeah, if that's your style, play your style. But I'm not gonna like hard counter you. I'm gonna scout you and break down what I'm doing as I fight you. If you're still listening, it's whatever. Okay, so make a drone. Get my overlord going across the map. Everything's easy peasy, hunky dory. Get my drones stacked on proper patches. Make an overlord. Make a drone. Now I have all my close patches stacked. This is looking good. Take our natural at 16. And then we'll take a drone off the mineral line at 180, so it gets down to the natural at the proper time. There we go. We can go 180 right now.
I don't think he tried to block me last game, did he?
He did, but he was a little late.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It looked just like that, like the green game. Like the probe showed up just a second after. Okay, so now we're gonna drone up to 18. Maintain 16 on the mineral line the entire time. And then make our gas and then pool. So gas. And focus his probe for a sec. Get out of here. Make a pool. Okay. We can rally both of our hatcheries now to the natural. And we can rally our eggs as we make them to the gas. Whatever works. Just eggs fill up the gas.
Is that more efficient than taking off the mineral line?
Do not take off the mineral line. We're not prioritizing gas here. We're not all-inning him, so we don't need... We're prioritizing economy, so do not under-prioritize your minerals. It would only make sense to rip off the mineral line to go to gas if you were going to all-in him, and you're like, I need to do a fast roach timing or a baneling bust. Okay, and now we're going to scout his doorway. Like we talked about. I'm still making drones. We got double gateway and a core, so this reinforces the possibility of a depth pressure, so I really need to remember that and go, okay. Adepts make more sense now when it comes up. You're rough. Thank you for the raid, dude. I'm doing a coach listen, guys, but welcome to the stream. Much love, much appreciated. Okay, so core is finishing. Right, like right now, like 218, 217. We'll just say 217 again, like you did. So 247 is when I should be worried about making wings, if I don't get attacked by a stalker, like 5 seconds after. So we're scouting through his main. We'll come back to that in a second. So 247's the win as a unit should be popping out of the gateway, if he makes one right away. Okay, so we take our third base, or sorry, take our creep towards our third base, make another queen. There's a stargate, and now right now 5 seconds on the clock because 247. If I don't get attacked by a stalker in the next like a couple seconds, I'm gonna make lings, and just a few of them. Yep, no stalker. So let's make some lings. We made 6, just in case an adept, the first adept just runs to my base right now. That way I won't lose drones. Leave my overlord like right on the edge, like right here. I'm hiding. Okay, and now look at my ling speed. It's not close yet. It's not far enough yet. We're getting really close though. So make a few more drones for a sec. And now Ling speed is at that threshold where it's now in that moment. But now if I got attacked by 1 adept, I'd be fine. So now let's make another like 6 or 8 lings. Get another queen now, going to my 3rd. Make like 2 more lings. And now we're done making lings. So now if 2 adepts show up, I'm gonna fucking steamroll them. Spread that creep again.
Is it normal to take the 3rd at the 28 supply or 30 supply?
Just take it when you can afford it, honestly. 30 supply is fine.
Yeah.
That's super minor between the two. So now, okay, adepts aren't attacking me, so let's go move out. Let's go poke. Oh, there we go. We just found adepts randomly. Okay, sick. That's a nice like. Look, I lose no drones. That's the easiest shit in the world. Oh, what's that Stargate doing? It's making a void ray. So let's go check for the 3rd now, and let's resaturate my main gas like we talked about. Rally my drones to my 3rd, and rally excess on my natural to my 3rd. And now let's make a couple more queens because this is voids and not oracles. Okay, we maybe can kill that adept at his 3rd. And our lings are just being annoying at the 3rd. What's going on in that Stargate? He's making nothing at the moment. It's fine. We're making injects. Let's make our roach one. Our roach one's a little late. That's a little fucked up, but it's okay. Okay, and he's making another void. So we see multiple voids. We don't need spores now because there's multiple voids. Now the server lord doesn't even need to stay here anymore. It doesn't matter. Now let's look at my 3rd base. It's fully saturated. So we need to have gases be started. We should start gas maybe a slight bit faster. It's okay though. If you fuck this up, it's not a big deal. Just have the idea, right? But now we're gonna make our 4th base, and you can see my creep is already pushing forward into my 4th base. My creep is also already pushing forward above my 3rd base. And I'm still making drones, and I'm taking all my gases now at all my bases because I'm really over droned here. So let's keep making a couple queens for the time being. And now we have 4 queens roaming that can defend all my bases. So we're making a little bit of extra queens because we know that this dude's going for voids. Let's also spread 1 creep teamer really fast into our main base, so I can deal with the possibility of the voids going in my main. Like, you know, so if I have to run to up my main ramp, I don't just get fucked.
Yeah, notice the game. You're being more offensive than, than I was.
Only because we
Too,
made
with
links.
the
Only
wings.
because we made links. You just didn't
Yeah.
make links. Like, or you made them like after the fact. Then yeah, you kind of sat there on them. And we don't need to make roaches either because we killed his adepts anyways. So there's no need to feel like we have to make roaches. Only if like there's roaches being bobbled, like, you know, grouped up, should we feel the need to make roaches to then defend the adepts that would come later. Okay, so we have. There we go. We're getting attacked by voids. Our queens are here. Spread our creep. He's going into the main. Let's rotate back to the main. It's fine. We're still spreading creep on the top side. Okay, we're at like 80 plus drones, so we're pretty good on that. We can just rebuild that gas when it dies. Not a big deal. Okay, he's going back to the next base. Again, the 4th base will go back again. Re-inject our bases. And now we're done making drones. We're like really at a healthy number. So now we're making hydras. Let's go ahead and start another base because we're really good on the economy. And if you notice the top side, there's no way he can attack my 3rd without me knowing about it. And also there's no way he can attack my main anymore with this new creep tumor we're spreading without us knowing about it. We have so much more creep that's just going to alert us everywhere the Protoss goes. And we're just making hydras now. So hydras will now deal with this going forward. So now we can add in gas to our 4th. Start mining it. And now let's get our queens more north on the map so we can really reinforce the creep up there too now, because we need to start spreading it forward instead of just diagonally, like sideways. And also the voiders are not being shown on the bottom where we have a lot of creep, so let's really spread this creep up here on the top. Okay, let's go ahead and get an infestation pit. That way we can get ready to go to a hive for our lurkers and all that stuff if we eventually need them. Keep spreading that creep. All we're doing is really spreading creep. That's like literally it. Spread creep as much as possible. And keep making hydras. Every time we can. And there's voids. Creep showed us voids up top. So now we defend this base. We can also bring our hydras up to defend our base. And now he's going down again, so we spread creep even further up top. And every time we spread creep, it makes it easier and easier and easier to always be alerted before he's at our base. Okay, there he is again. Now he's going through the middle of the map. Let's go fix the creep that just died right there and send our hydras down to deal with the void rays. And we're almost maxed out right now. Okay, we can max out with the rest of our supply on lings because we really can't afford gas anymore. We need to get upgrades to 2-2. But we're still spreading creep like crazy. Creep. 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 Make some lings. And now we are maxed out, so when our last units pop out here, let's go for it. Let's go hit his third base. That we know exists right now. And let's also take a hive and start 2-2 upgrades. So let's go, let's just fucking smash that shit right now. We have an overseer coming as well. Or it's like on its way, but yeah, it's super slow. So now we push. Hydra speed is finishing right now, so our Hydras are perfectly upgraded. We're maxed out. Right now, Protoss probably only has like 130 supply or 140 supply. This is when this would actually fucking own. You can't do this when like Protoss is maxed out. And I will literally aim move this and I will not touch it anymore. And now let's have our queens go deal with the Void Rays. And spread our creep. Spread our creep. Spread our creep. Spread our creep. We can try and transfuse that hatchery, maybe. No, we didn't get it in time. But he lost his third. So now we can attack his next base. Just like shift A move, almost like BGM style. And rebuild the base we just lost. I mean, that was, we lost just the hatchery, but he lost the Nexus and all of his probes and all that shit. So that's huge for us. Now we have Lurker incoming. We can transfer drones that are oversaturated to a new base. And what's our drone count looking like now? We're at 78. Let's make some more drones. Let's go back to like 85 or something. 88's fine, whatever, because we're going to make more units anyways. And we could just make more Hydras again right now. And more Lings. If we have no gas, we can make Lings. But if we have gas, we can just make Hydras. And then eventually we can go into Lurkers again. And we're just spreading creep. So the Void Rays were way more mitigated. Like, nothing too crazy happened here. We kind of just A-moved his third with Lings. We didn't micro too crazy. And then the Lings were annoying. And then we just literally A-moved our Hydras and Lings on his third base when we maxed out. Nothing too crazy. The crazy thing we did this game was we spread creep. And our queens monitored the creep the whole time while we did our build to go, where are the Void Rays going? I will zone you out. And yeah, you don't, by the way, chat, you don't need Spore Crawlers for versing Void Rays because the only time you ever need Spores versus Voids is if the guy is like going like 2 or 3 Stargates and you're afraid that your queens aren't going to be enough. But one queen is worth more value than a Spore Crawler. And one queen and a Spore cost almost the same amount of money. It's 125 minerals if you include the drone cost with the Spore, and it's 150 for a queen. A queen is just better overall because it can transfuse. It takes less damage. It's not armored. It's not the armor type that Void Rays penetrate and fucking own. They can transfuse. They can spread your creep. If you're letting Void Rays get to your mineral lines, you're playing it kind of wrong anyways. You should be zoning them before they touch your hatcheries.
Mineral cluster expended.
So, how you feeling, Grimfaith?
Feel good.
Exhausted.
Any questions about the game? Like, does it make sense? Anything that seem awkward or?
Yeah. No, it makes sense. One of the things that stuck out for me, I don't know, but tell me if I'm wrong or not, is getting link speed and then me not utilizing that. I think that was one of the things too.
No,
I mean, obviously creep spread, but
yeah, no, okay. So, I would say I didn't deny the third either. I didn't overcommit to the third, and even though he was being greedy, I didn't. I could have made more lings if I wanted to really make sure I kill that third base. That is possible, but I didn't. I don't want to make the game super weird and complicated because if you overcommit to lings and you don't kill the third anyways, you're gonna get fucked. It's one of those things that you need to like have a judgment, a good on the fly judgment call to be like, this will work or this will not work. And if it did work, that'd be great. But if it doesn't work, you're behind again anyways. The only real difference I would say in your game to my game that I just played of the lings being made is we both made the same amount of lings either way, but I didn't lose 8 drones and you did. So that's a difference about how you can set up the build faster. My lings, the difference was your lings killed his adepts in your mineral line after 8 drones died, but my lings killed 3 adepts in the middle of the map and they didn't do anything, they just died. Because I just was going to his base and they happened to run into adepts. I didn't even know they're going to be there. It's just that you make the lings anyways to deal with adepts if the Protoss is aggressive. And also if the Protoss sent his first adept into my base, it would have done no damage because I made 6 lings and I talked about how we calculated the time into when that would make sense. Like the 30-second
yeah,
rule after the delay.
I think I seldom never making enough lings in the beginning either, 'cause it's like, oh, you only make like what would be for Terran, like you were saying. So it's like,
Oh yeah, yeah. You want to make sure
so
you make lings against Protoss before your drones die. It's like preventative damage, but you don't want to overdo it either. So like literally 12 to 16 and you're good to go. That's why I was saying like if the Protoss is really greedy, you could deny the Nexus with that. But the reason why I didn't kill his Nexus is because we ended up killing 5 Adepts with our 16 lings we made, because we killed 3 in the middle of the map, and then we killed 2 more, 1 by 1, at his 3rd base. And then a Void Ray eventually came over and killed my lings. So those lings 100% paid for themselves. And they also scouted, okay, Protoss is also being greedy. So not only did I kill more than what I lost, which was nice, I got a really nice scout, and now I know I'm safe to drone like crazy. Which is exactly what you did too. You droned like crazy as well, which was correct. But then the same thing was the Void Rays didn't even kill 1 hatchery. They didn't even kill 1 drone. Every time they showed up at my base, like they killed a gas. They killed my extractor in my main. But every time they showed up at my base, they were just getting smacked by queens the entire time, because everywhere they would go, creep, 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 creep. And every single second that continued, there was just more creep, more creep. So there's even more time now I have every time he's at my base, he's spotted further and further and further away. I sniped a drone at your 3rd base vibe. Did you? Okay, well, sorry. I lost a drone. The point is the creep spread fucks over the Void Rays like crazy. It's super effective because the Void Rays can't do anything if you're there in position before they arrive. The only time when Void Rays are effective is when you're not there when they arrive. And you're like, oh shit, he's attacking my economy. So
the OP creep.
Yeah, creep is insanely good. And that's, you also saw how fast I spread it to the top wall and how fast I got towards the bottom wall super quick. It totally ruined the whole Void Ray strategy, because I made sure I had the edges of the map of him trying to fly around the edges in Fog of War, because you can't use Overlords because they'll just repeatedly die and it's really wasteful. But creep can replace that, and he doesn't have an observer with Void Rays. They don't have detection. So he's just always flying over vision of mine with creep, and I just always am trying to get in position before he's there. And I lose barely anything. So my economy explodes and I maintain it. I don't lose it. Because what happened... or go ahead, sorry.
Are all the levels like in StarCraft pretty much fundamentally just like getting enough economy to attack pretty much, or
yeah,
that's kind of like the game, like it goes from like that to the next stage and the next stage.
Much. Yes. It's just basically the higher level you get, it gets more complicated to maintain your economy, because there's more elaborate harass that happens to you. But yes, the game is literally, for Zerg specifically, for all the races to a degree, but Zerg specifically, because you have to make a choice, army or economy, it is literally hit my drone window that I need to hit and then protect it. Because if you make a drone economy and you don't protect it and you have to remake it, you're fucked. Like, it's bad. And if you make a drone economy and you yeah, like literally that's literally it. If you just don't protect it properly, you're just wasting larva. I was gonna say it in a different way, but I was like, I'm about to say the same thing again. Yeah, you have to like, larva efficiency is huge, and that means not letting shit die needlessly. So you like, and again, it just gets more and more and more elaborate when your opponent gets overall stronger at the game and higher level leagues.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but 100% I would definitely recommend that you save the replay that I just played and use that as an example to like have timers for yourself. As if anything else, it's just for timers. To be like, am I actually hitting the max at the same time Vibe did? Is my creep at the same moment? Like, does my creep at 7 minutes look like Vibe's creep at 7 minutes?
Oh no, absolutely. It's gonna be a great resource to use. So definitely.
Yeah, that'll help a lot at. And then really keep in mind too, you only need to make spores, honestly, against an oracle. If you don't make spore and there's an oracle, you're going to lose a crazy amount of drones. Oracles wipe out mineral lines fucking so fast, and they also die so fast to spore crawlers. So you need spores versus oracle. You actually do not really need... If you make one spore in the mineral line versus a void ray, it's not going to accomplish a whole lot, because a void ray can poke your mineral line from the side anyways. And if there's like 5 void rays and you're making a spore in the middle line, it can just instantly die to an overcharge of voids, like within 2 seconds. So
Hasn't the meta changed? I don't want you to get too deep into it. It's just a quick question, but hasn't like the meta changed where people don't use oracles too much anymore, or is it
It happens
it's
sometimes.
mostly void rays
It is
preference?
mostly voids, but there are players that I run into daily myself that will make one void initially, and then they'll make an oracle right after, and they will do it because they want you to not make spores, and then they'll fucking hit you with an oracle.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why you always. That's why 100%. That's why I made a really big deal about it, about you keeping your overlord near the stargate to tell what he's making, and then you can do it for the multiple units. Like, oh, what's he making second? What's he making? Like, if he doesn't scout you ever, and he just goes straight away from your overlord every time, what's he making third? What's he making fourth? What's he making fifth? But if his void ray kills your overlord right after the first void ray gets made, I would say if you don't know what's coming second, that's when you should just make spores. Like one spore per base. Because if it is an oracle, you'll be glad you have it. And if you don't have an oracle, or if it is an oracle and you don't make a spore and you just don't realize, you're like, oh, I don't know what he's making, but I don't know. You'd be like, oh, fuck, I just lost
Sure.
12 drones. Oh, God.
Sure, at this level, I mean, you don't have to be like super efficient, you know, but so you can make spores. But
You could make a spore
I don't
color
know why
every
I'm telling.
game.
I don't know why I'm telling you that because you know. So I know I'm
You
like,
could make a spore color every game, but I want to make sure you understand that if you're allowing void rays to always get in your base and hit your base repeatedly, your creep spread probably sucks. Like,
yeah,
you can't avoid that when you're playing really greedy and you're taking like a really fast fourth base or something like that. But in general, he should never be able to get in your mineral line and then you're like, oh no, my drones are dying. Let's go defend that. That either means your creep spread's dog shit and you're like, well, I didn't see it coming, so I didn't know it was there. Or it means that your game awareness, your mini-map awareness is really bad and you didn't move your queens fast enough. One of those two is happening. Or both of them. So, because if you notice the difference in the game I just played, he never ever was attacking my mineral line without a queen smacking his ass. There was only one moment in time where it was somewhat unavoidable, which was when he was getting smacked by my queens at my fourth, and then he went over the cliff into my main, and my queens were on their already, like they were already en route to go to the main base, and they killed my gas in the main while my one queen in the main was smacking them. But there was no way I could fucking be there. I can't teleport over the cliff, right? I have to run around the wall. That's the
right.
advantage of an air unit flying over a cliff. But I was en route to go kill it. There was never a point when my queens were like on the other side of the map, and he just flies into my main base, and I'm all the way up at my fourth, and I'm like, wait, what? Oh, let's go down there for 25 seconds while 8 drones die or 15 drones die, and then I'll arrive. It never happened. And it never would happen if your creep spread's good, and you're always having your queens zoning the void rays. That's literally the mini game you have to play against Skytoss early game when they play like that. Is you have to zone the void rays with your queens, and your creep spread helps you do that while doing your build, essentially.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then, yeah, if you do a good job at it, did you see how hard it was for him to deal with the Hydra attack? He just fucking died. And that's how a lot of Protoses will feel too, because it's not 200 supply versus 200 supply. It's 200 supply versus like 130. And that's what it should be like if you go Hydras. Because
Yeah,
Hydras are cheaper. They're not as, like, money-wise, our armies are probably somewhat similar investments. It's the only advantage is that I'm maintaining a fourth base economy and he doesn't have one yet, like I did, as fast. But so I will have a little bit of an edge there with money, but overall, I'm making army that where if I spend 5,000 resources and he spends 5,000 resources, my army is going to be like at 80 supply and his army would be at 50 supply, because we're not like supply and resources do not equal the same thing in StarCraft 2 all the time. Like one Templar is definitely more expensive than one Hydra. So it's different. It's not the same. Like some units just scale more expensively than others. Same thing with a carrier. One carrier is not the same supply, or it's 6 supply of a carrier versus 6 supply of Hydra is not the same cost. Carrier is a fuckload more expensive, because if you think about a carrier, like that's a good example. 3 Hydras is 300 minerals and 150 gas, and that's it. So 300, 150. That's 3 Hydras. That's 6 supply of Hydras. One carrier is 350, 250 by default, plus 15 times 4 to fill up the interceptors for minerals. So the default carrier alone is 50 more minerals and 100 more gas than 3 Hydras. And then you have to add on 60 more minerals on top of that because of the interceptor build cost to fill up the carrier all the way to 8 because it only starts with 4. So a carrier is 110 minerals and 100 more gas than Hydras. So that's 210 more resources in expense for the same amount of supply. That's per carrier. If you had 10 carriers, that army is going to be fucking ridiculously more expensive.
So to pretty much recap, the important points are creep spread, queens, and pretty much droning up.
Yep. And then if you can't win the game, if you make mistakes or if you're just like falling apart or whatever, or the Protoss just isn't dying, and the game literally turns into late game, the only way you play that out is you have to have spores, and with your army, you let him engage that, and then you counter like pounce on it. And one way you can force him to react to you is you can try to attack his base with like you can eventually start getting melee upgrades late game, and you can start going into like Ling or Ling Bane attacks on his mineral lines that are like away from where his army is, and try to like make him feel like he has to all in you.
Do you think the way that I play would be better for me just to go to lurkers? The way, pretty much the direction I'm going with my, roaches and hydras.
What do you mean exactly?
Like versus Protoss.
Are you talking about
because
instead
I
of
remember
Ling
you
Bane
said
that I just said?
Yeah.
No. So you need lurkers either way. Okay, so I'm not telling you make Ling Bane instead of lurker. What I'm telling you is late game, when it's a stalemate, when you both have like a 200 supply army and neither one really wants to attack the other one, if you just walk into Fog of War in his base, you're gonna die. Like absolutely gonna fucking die.
I mean, I totally messed you up. You're talking about late game. I was talking about like the play style that I'm playing right now.
Yeah,
pretty much the pathway of where I'm going. It'd be easier for me to do lurker, hydra, because that's already going in that direction type of thing. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, for sure. You should still make it. But the only thing I was saying is like that you should do the build order you did. That's fine. That makes sense. But if you're maxed out at 200 supply and you don't use Ling Bane or Ling at all, you have no way to pressure expansions. Because if you pressure expansions with lurkers, that's expensive as shit. And they're not going to kill the base super fast, and you're going to kill a couple cannons, and their lurkers are going to die. So, and then if you move your whole army to kill an expansion, once again, you're moving to his base before he moves to yours, and then you're not using creep and spores anymore. What you want to do is you want to make him feel the need to walk into your base when you have advantage of positioning. Like, you go, oh, I just killed your expansion with 15 supply of Ling Bane. I just wiped out a bunch of cannons and a bunch of probes, and you're now, that sucks for you. And if the Protoss then goes, you know what, time to fucking attack, and then he flies into your spores, into your lurkers, into your hydras, that's when you have a better advantage, because you're already set up.
That's pretty much the normal reaction, though, is for most people, isn't it? You attack them, and they pretty much attack back. That's
why
100%.
Yes. That's why you should not fucking attack first with your lurker hydra. If you fucking walk in a Fog of War with lurker hydra, and you send me a replay, I'm going to watch you like walk in, your hydra's are going to get stormed like crazy, and you're just going to lose everything, just like you did earlier in that game when you walked into the Templar in your game.
Bro, you're freaking smooth braining it. Stop it.
Yeah, just, you can make him react to you by having little counterattacks of Ling Bane or Ling, either one. Ling Bane, Bane additions work well if he's got a lot of cannons. And then you get Baneling speed and you get melee upgrades as well while you play patiently with Lurker Hydra. It's not fucking easy to play that way. I'm telling you right now, it is not easy to play that way. It's not supposed to be your default. It's just if the Protoss maxes out on Skytoss, because you're not going to fucking win just auto-attacking across the map. You're going to die every time. So you might want to learn how to get comfortable defensively absorbing Skytoss rather than aggressively dying to Skytoss.
Yeah, I don't really get frustrated. I like the challenge of it, so it's like
that's good. That's good.
If something's hard to do it, I know there's like a way to pretty much figure out how to do it. So
yeah. But yeah. Anyways, any final questions about anything?
No, man, you did really good. That was great. A lot of information, a lot of useful resources and stuff like that. The replay alone is awesome. So definitely be using it.
Nice, man. Well,
yeah.
Grim, I wish you the best of luck, and fucking go own those Skytoss players, go own those Protosses, and try to apply everything we talked about as well, not only to ZvP, but also try to apply it to all the races too. Like,
I'll be looking forward to roasting my replay analysis in the future.
Yeah. And it definitely, I'll send this VOD to you as well, so you can listen to it again, but definitely listen to what I said too, early on in the lesson when I gave you like a rough outline. Like, you can apply that style versus Terran and versus Zerg too if you want some ideas on like if you played that way, good compositionally, what I told you earlier, that would be super fucking strong in all the matchups. The things I was saying in the beginning.
Oh yeah, man, appreciate it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You are awesome.
Well, dude, thanks for all the support over the over time, and yeah, I'll see you on the stream. Thanks for
Definitely.
doing a lesson.
I wouldn't watch if I didn't like it. So.
Oh my god, this is getting too fucking wholesome now. All right, man. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, dude. See you later. Catch you later.
Later, man. All right, guys. Thanks for thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the coaching lesson, and I hope it helped you. And I'll see you in the next video, whatever it might be, whatever the thing I always say. This is my outro, I guess. I always say the same shit. But see you in the next video. Good luck in your own games, and peace, guys. See ya.